My coffee mug slips from my fingers and shatters against the kitchen tile, sending ceramic shards skittering like tiny accusations across the floor. I barely notice. My eyes stay glued to the phone screen, thumb scrolling through image after image in the Pinecrest Estates HOA group chat. 34 smiling faces packed into Karen Whitaker's meticulously beige backyard. I count them twice, as if the number might magically change. The Johnsons from 2 doors down. Old Mr. Hargrove, who barely leaves his porch. Even my own mother, Linda, perched on a folding chair with that fake polite smile she reserves for board meetings. Everyone except me. The photos show tables draped in the exact neutral palette, linens the covenants demand, centerpieces of sad little white roses that Karen insists are the only approved bloom. Champagne flutes raised in endless toasts to the upcoming Heritage Day Gala, the massive community event that somehow morphed into a reception for Karen's daughter Fiona's wedding at the clubhouse. A celebration planned for weeks, maybe months. A celebration I never knew existed until this accidental post popped up in the group. The sting cuts deeper because just last month I emailed Karen offering my graphic design services for free. I can whip up custom banners, digital invitations, signage, whatever the board needs, I'd written attaching my portfolio. Happy to contribute and make Pinecrest Estates look sharp. A genuine offer from one neighbor to another. My home office, perfectly legal under city code, but apparently a visual eyesore, according to Karen, suddenly feels colder despite the California sun streaming through the windows. The light that warmed me minutes ago now feels like a spotlight, exposing every blade of grass that's a millimeter too long. I sink onto a kitchen stool. Memories wash over me like the tide of violation notices I've collected. Last month's board meeting flashes back, Karen droning on about community cohesion, while praising Fiona's traditional values. Then her gaze slid to me when I mentioned my latest client win. Oh, Avery's still doing that little hobby of hers, the logos and whatnot. That little hobby that paid cash for this house and built a client list with 3 national brands. My mother had sat there nodding along, while Karen positioned Fiona as the golden child of the neighborhood. Even when I mentioned landing a 6-figure branding contract, the conversation pivoted straight back to Fiona's engagement ring. My hands tremble as I pull up Karen's contact and hit call before I can talk myself out of it. She answers on the 4th ring. Avery, dear, is everything all right? Her voice drips that familiar note of concern laced with judgment, like she's already decided whatever I'm calling about is an overreaction. There was a planning gathering for the Heritage Day Gala yesterday. I say, voice steadier than I expected. Everyone was there. Why wasn't I invited? I offer to help with designs. A weighted pause stretches between us, then her signature sigh. Oh, that. Well, the board felt you always make everything about your artistic flair. Fiona deserves her special day. The community deserves a drama-free celebration. The accusation lands like a slap from a clipboard. Make everything about myself. When have I ever? Please don't start, Avery. This is exactly what we wanted to avoid. The gala needs to stay cohesive without complications. I stand up straighter, shoulders no longer hunched like I'm shrinking to fit their stupid covenants. So, I'm the complication now. That's what the board thinks of me. It's not personal, dear. Not personal. The same words Karen uses whenever she wants to dismiss anyone questioning her rules, like the time she fined Mrs. Patel for hanging an American flag half an inch too high. My free hand stops trembling. A strange calm settles as I realize this isn't a misunderstanding. This was deliberate, planned, petty. I'm gonna call my mother, I say. Avery, don't. Karen's voice rises with alarm, but I've already ended the call. I dial Mom next, surprised by my own steadiness. When her voice comes through, clipped and impatient, I skip pleasantries. Why wasn't I invited to the gala planning? A pause. Then, I was wondering when you'd call. No apology needed. You shouldn't be there. Fiona deserves a day that's just hers without anyone turning it into a modern art statement. As if my presence would somehow tarnish the HOA's perfect beige aesthetic. as if I'm a shadow that might darken their spotlight. I'm a resident here, paying the same dues. The words feel hollow. Blood, neighborhood ties clearly mean nothing when Karen's in charge. Listen, Avery. Mom's voice hardens. We've all discussed this. The Gala plans, too. I suggest you don't make this into something bigger than it needs to be. Some relationships in the neighborhood are already strained. The threat isn't subtle. Pushback, and what little community I still have might vanish. I stand at my kitchen window, staring at the identical houses across the street, and suddenly understand with perfect clarity. This HOA values appearances over genuine connection. They always have. I hang up without goodbye. The silence in my house no longer oppressive, but clarifying. A cardinal lands on my balcony railing, vibrant red against the gray HOA-approved trim, watching me before flying away. I wonder what it feels like to be that free. That afternoon, my phone pings with a notification while I'm sketching logo concepts for a new client. I almost ignore it. Deadlines wait for no one. But habit makes me glance. A group message from Karen. Remember to bring Fiona's wedding flowers on Saturday. Good thing we didn't invite Avery. Less drama. My pencil stops mid-stroke. The room tilts slightly as I lean against the counter, breathing shallow. This wasn't an oversight. It was coordinated exclusion. I screenshot before the message deletes with a soft whoosh. The notification shows Karen, Fiona, Mom, and half the board all in the thread. The next morning, I drive to Mom's house 3 blocks away, the screenshot burning in my pocket like a loaded violation notice. She answers in her gardening gloves, dirt smudged across one cheek. Avery, what a surprise. I was just about to make tea. I follow her into the living room, where she settles into her favorite armchair with the ease of someone secure in their HOA-approved position. I stay standing, aware of the family photos on the mantel. Fiona centered in most, my face half hidden in shadows. I got an interesting message yesterday, I say, pulling out my phone. Her face changes when I show the screenshot. Not surprise, but resignation. She doesn't deny it. We all agreed it would be easier this way, she says, smoothing invisible wrinkles from her pants. The Gala deserves to be beautiful without complications. Complications? The word tastes like overpriced HOA fines. You mean me? Now, Avery, don't be dramatic, she sighs, using the tone reserved for when I'm being difficult. Perhaps you should make other plans for that Saturday. Other plans? I repeat, voice steady despite trembling hands. While Fiona gets her $95,000 reception at the clubhouse where every neighbor I barely know is invited except me, Mom's eyebrows lift. How did you know about the venue? Cousin Rachel called last week asking about carpooling. A small, cruel satisfaction blooms when she flinches. She assumed I'd be there. The silence stretches like a widening crack in perfect pavement. Your father and I think it's better this way, she finally says. The whole neighborhood agrees. The whole neighborhood has been told, what about me exactly? I ask, voice barely a whisper. She looks away, fiddling with a loose thread. Just that you've always been sensitive about Fiona getting attention. The betrayal lands like a physical blow. Years of block parties where I sat quietly while Fiona was showered with praise. Years of watching my accomplishments dismissed while hers were toasted. You try to erase me from the neighborhood narrative, I say, realization crystallizing. Everyone already believes I'm difficult because that's what you've all told them. That's not true, she protests, but her eyes won't meet mine. It is true, and now I have a choice. Accept being erased or risk losing what little connection remains. Mom stands, crossing to the window. I hope you'll make the right decision. Your father and I have been helping with your property taxes. If you make trouble about this Gala. If I make trouble, the words escape in a harsh laugh, like standing up for myself. If this is exactly why Karen thought it best not to include me. Her voice hardens. Everything becomes drama with you. I leave without goodbye, driving aimlessly for hours. 3 client deadlines pass while I sit paralyzed at home, unable to focus on the simplest design tasks. 3 days of revenue vanish while I stare at my phone, waiting for someone, anyone, to say this was a mistake. No one does. That evening, ISA brings Thai food and wine to my house, listening as I recount every detail. Unlike the neighborhood, she doesn't interrupt or dismiss. That's textbook emotional manipulation, she says, refilling my glass. They're gaslighting you into believing you're the problem when they're the ones excluding you. Her validation feels like the first sip of water after days in a desert. Karen and your mom are tag teaming to control the narrative. Classic toxic HOA dynamics. Later, alone on my balcony, I watch the city lights flicker as darkness falls. The cardinal returns, perching briefly before flying away. Sipping wine gone warm, I wonder whether I should crash the gala anyway and force a confrontation or step away completely and build my own celebration elsewhere. The neighborhood I'd known for years was slipping away. But was it worth fighting for connections that caused this much pain? Fiona's engagement photos appear on the HOA Instagram feed at precisely 8:17 a.m. on a Tuesday. I'm midway through my first cup of coffee when her radiant smile fills my screen. Her fiancé gazing at her with practiced adoration against a backdrop of HOA-approved autumn leaves. The caption cuts sharper than any violation notice, celebrating our journey with those who truly support us, keeping our gala intimate with only the people who've always been there. My phone buzzes 3 times in rapid succession. Private messages from neighbors I've exchanged, maybe 10 words with at block parties. Why are you causing drama during Fiona's special time? Neighbors should support each other no matter what. Karen is so upset about your behavior. I set the phone face down, hand trembling slightly. The accusations make no sense until I realize what's happening. They're rewriting history, crafting a narrative where I declined an invitation rather than admitting I was deliberately erased. My grandmother's call comes that evening as I'm washing dishes, her voice wavering with disappointment. Avery, honey, I never thought you'd refuse to support the neighborhood's special day. The plate in my hands nearly slips. Grandma, I wasn't invited. That's not what Karen told me. Her voice hardens. She said you couldn't put aside your jealousy for even one day. After we hang up, I stand motionless at the sink, water running over my hands until it turns cold. The neighborhood story about me is taking shape without my input. According to ISA, who still chats with my mother weekly, Karen has been sharing tearful accounts of my jealousy issues with anyone who will listen. The following week, Barton Media cancels our contract for their spring campaign. The email is polite but clear. We've heard you can be difficult to work with. We need someone who fits our collaborative culture. 3 days later, Westerly Home Goods pulls out. The loss carves $27,000 from my quarterly income. I track the connections methodically. Barton's director plays tennis with Karen's husband. Westerly's owner attends the same church as Mom. Sleep becomes a distant memory. I spend nights hunched over my computer redesigning my portfolio website instead of resting. Every pixel feels like reclaiming a piece of my narrative. At 3 a.m. With eyes burning, I wonder how many hours it'll take to outrun the whispers. My routine fractures. I stop visiting Marigold Coffee because Karen's Bridge Club meets their Thursdays. I drive 15 minutes out of my way to shop at a different grocery store after spotting Mom's friend Caroline examining apples. Checking social media becomes self-harm. Each notification triggers shallow breathing and cold fingers. I start documenting every interaction in a leather-bound journal. Dates, exact wording, witnesses. The evidence feels important somehow. The anonymous text arrives Sunday morning. Some people aren't stable enough for formal events. Your absence is a kindness to everyone. I recognize Karen's particular brand of cruelty wrapped in concern. The phone slips from my fingers onto the couch as something inside me finally breaks. The doorbell rings at that exact moment. I consider ignoring it until ISA's voice comes through. I know you're in there, Avery. I brought Thai food and wedding magazines. She stands on my threshold, clutching a paper bag and glossy publications, camera bag slung over her shoulder. What are you doing here? My voice sounds hollow. ISA pushes past me. Let's plan something that's actually worth celebrating. A day about joy, not appearances. I'm about to ask what she means when Mom's silver sedan pulls into the visitor spot visible from my window. My stomach clenches. Client call in 5 minutes. I lie, reaching for my laptop as Mom knocks. ISA squeezes my shoulder before retreating to the kitchen. Mom enters without invitation, eyes inventorying my space like searching for evidence of instability. We need to talk, Avery. This has gone far enough. The invitations are already printed. What invitations? I remain standing. Fiona's Gala invitations. You need to let this go. This isn't about an invitation, I say. Clarity, surprising even me. It's about years of being treated as less than. Mom's face hardens. If you can't support Fiona's happiness, maybe you're not the daughter I thought you were. The words should hurt, but they illuminate something new. I straighten my shoulders. I'm exactly the daughter you raised. I just stopped accepting the role you assigned me. Something flickers across her face. Surprise, maybe respect, before she composes herself. In that moment, I realize my worth isn't determined by neighborhood validation. It never was. Later, ISA and I sit on the balcony, half-eaten Thai food between us. She scrolls her calendar. I have a client photo shoot in Santa Barbara in 3 weeks. Come with me. We'll make it a working vacation. I could use an assistant. The offer brings unexpected tears. While the neighborhood crafts excuses for my exclusion, my real friends create alternatives for inclusion. My phone chimes with a text from Thomas, a supportive neighbor. Just decline my invite to the gala. Not going somewhere my friend isn't welcome. The next morning, I wake up and speak confidently about my design business and networking breakfast for the first time in months. 3 potential clients request follow-ups. Something has shifted, a quiet certainty replacing desperate approval. When ISA and I arrive in Santa Barbara, 3 weeks later, the Pacific stretches like possibility. At a small bookshop near the marina, I meet Mateo, the owner with kind eyes and quiet laugh, who asks thoughtful questions about my work. You should see my place at sunset, he says after our 3rd coffee. I restore an old seaside villa just north of here. The light is perfect for someone with your eye. Standing on his terrace that evening watching the sun sink, a thought forms. What if the answer isn't fighting for inclusion in a celebration that doesn't want me? What if I wrote a different story entirely? 2 months later, my phone sits on Mateo's kitchen counter displaying a half-finished invitation design. The villa's morning light streams through tall windows, illuminating space where 18 place settings will soon host the only people who truly matter. What do you think about this font pairing? I point to elegant script, contrasting clean sans serif. Too predictable? Mateo leans forward, coffee scent mingling with salt air. It feels confident, but not shouting for attention. I smile, adjusting spacing. For 3 weeks, every spare moment has gone into planning this gathering. Not a reaction to HOA drama, but a celebration reflecting who I've become. Each element from hand-pressed botanical prints to custom playlists showcases my professional talents while honoring genuine connections. May 15th, I say, tracing the date. Far enough from the gala that no one can claim I'm competing. Does it matter what they think? Mateo asks gently. It matters that I know my intentions. I save the file and close my laptop. This isn't about them anymore. For the first time since discovering those gala photos, excitement bubbles without bitter rejection. I'm creating rather than reacting, building something authentic. My phone rings, Karen's name flashing. I consider voicemail, but decide against it. I'm done hiding. Hello. My voice steady. Professional Avery, her voice could freeze water. What's this I hear about you planning some vacation during gala season? You need to take down those social media posts immediately. I frown. What posts? ISA's photography page. The save the date for your event at the Seaside Villa on May 15th. My stomach drops. May 15th, but the gala isn't until June. Silence stretches. When Karen speaks again, her voice drips artificial sweetness. Oh, didn't you know? The date was moved weeks ago. May 15th at the clubhouse. Everyone's been informed. Everyone except me. So you're having your little party the same day as Fiona's gala? The accusation hangs. Neighbors will take sides, Avery. Think about what you're doing. My first instinct is panic. Should I change my date? Apologize for a conflict I didn't create? But as Karen lists reasons I should rearrange, something hardens. I look at the invitation design, Mateo, setting coffee mug in the sink at the home that welcomed me without conditions. I won't rearrange my joy to accommodate your judgment. I say quietly. What did you just say? The date stays, Karen. Anyone who wants to attend either event should follow their heart. You made yours clear. I end the call. Mateo watches carefully. Apparently the gala is the same day as ours. Complete coincidence. Do you want to change our date? With both events now, on May 15th, I faced a choice. Postpone to avoid conflict or proceed. Was preserving peace with people who excluded me worth disrupting my happiness? No. I answer finally. We're keeping our date. Mateo nods, understanding. This is the difference between chosen community and forced HOA ties. One requires performance. The other offers acceptance. Later that afternoon, ISA messages. Saw your final invitation design. Gorgeous. Consider photography services my gift. Within minutes, a group chat forms with friends coordinating travel, turning our gathering into a weekend celebration. Thomas offers wine selection. Jana arranges flowers. You focus on creative stuff. Mateo says that evening showing spreadsheets. About logistics. As we work side by side, I realize we're creating something the HOA would never understand. This isn't reaction, but intention, not competition, but completion. My phone buzzes constantly with neighborhood messages, but friends create a buffer. When Karen sends a paragraph about selfish choices, ISA responds with oceanfront venue photos. When Mom texts asking how I could do this, Mateo hands me paint swatches. A week before our celebration, an unexpected text from neighbor Rachel. Grandma's asking questions about why you weren't invited. Karen's story isn't holding up. The next day, Uncle David messages. Something doesn't add up about this gala drama. Fiona keeps changing her explanation. The carefully constructed narrative begins showing cracks. Different neighbors told different versions. Contradictions noticeable. When Grandma's name appears that evening, I answer immediately. Avery, I'd like to hear your side. Before responding, another call beeps, Mom. I let it voicemail, focusing on Grandma. Later, Mom's message strained. We need to talk about a compromise. Can we meet tomorrow? Urgent. I set the phone down, looking at sunset, painting the garden golden. For the first time, facing the neighborhood doesn't fill me with dread. Whatever comes, I'm standing on solid ground. The knock comes at 8:15 Tuesday morning, 3 days before my ceremony. Through peephole, Mom clutches purse white-knuckled, while Karen stands beside her designer handbag dangling from tight grip. I consider pretending not home, but truth needs addressing. Avery, sweetheart. Mom's voice forced cheer as they step in. Karen follows, gaze sweeping critically across my living room, where design samples lie neatly arranged. This has gone far enough, Karen says, skipping pleasantries. I remain standing while they settle on sofa. Power dynamic different now. I no longer shrink. We like to propose a compromise, Mom says, hands fidgeting. You can attend Fiona's reception, the evening portion only, if you cancel your party. Think how this looks. Karen adds, 2 events same day, divides the neighborhood, forces people to choose sides. Mom leans forward, voice dropping. Your grandmother is very stressed. At her age, this conflict isn't good for her heart. The manipulation, transparent, almost makes me laugh. Instead, I walk to drafting table, returning with leather portfolio. I'd like to show you something, I say, opening to watercolor sketches of intimate seaside ceremony. This is what Mateo and I planned. 18 guests, no formal invitations, just people who care. I turn pages, showcasing menus, hand-lettered custom place, settings, flower arrangements, amber, and sage. The date set weeks before I learned about the gala, voice steady. We didn't choose it to compete. The villa has perfect sunset lighting. Mom's brow furrows. But why didn't you tell us? I pull another folder mock-ups of invitations I never sent. I respected your decision to exclude me. Didn't think you'd want to know. She looks stunned. Avery, we never met. I'm not asking anyone to choose. I interrupt gently. You made yours months ago. This celebration isn't about Fiona. It isn't even about you. Karen stands abruptly pacing toward design wall, where client projects hang alongside plans. This doesn't change anything, she insists. Playing dress-up won't make your party the real event. I feel something snap. Not anger, but clarity. I'm not playing anything, Karen. I'm living authentically while you're performing. I gesture portfolio. These designs aren't pretend. They're my profession, the one you've dismissed as little hobby for years. I slide brochure across table. This is my wedding portfolio. 3 national brands hired me based on these. While you told everyone about my jealousy issues, I built a business paying for this house. Mom sinks deeper, eyes lingering on Mateo photo. For first time, she sees beyond Karen's narrative. Were we really that cruel? She asks quietly. Karen snorts, grabbing purse. This is ridiculous. I'm not sitting here while she twists everything. She storms toward door, pausing hand on knob. Fiona's gala cost $95,000. 200 guests. That's what a real celebration looks like. I smile, not unkindly. Sounds lovely for Fiona. Hope she feels truly seen. After Karen slams door, Mom remains looking smaller than ever. You taught me I wasn't worth including. I tell her, soft but firm. I taught myself I was worth celebrating. She opens mouth, but phone chimes text. Face pales. What is it? Your cousin Deborah asking if she can come to your ceremony instead. She looks bewildered. How does she know? I shrug. People talk, the same way they talked about excluding me. After Mom leaves, promising to think about everything, I water balcony garden, wondering which ceremony she'll attend, if either. My phone rings, son slipping behind buildings. Avery, Mateo's voice excited. You won't believe this. That wedding blog, Modern Celebrations, wants to feature our ceremony. They love intimate designers event, focusing authenticity over extravagance. Eileen railing, watching Cardinal Land nearby, vibrant red, same one from Discovery Day. Story shifting ways never anticipated. For first time, I whisper more to myself. I feel neither sad nor angry, just free. 7 weeks after our ceremony, I nearly drop my phone when Mateo shows statistics. 80,000 likes on our wedding photo. Number seems impossible, yet they're on screen, hundreds comments praising authentic celebration of love. Look at this one, Mateo says, pointing comment from popular design blogger. Avery's attention to meaningful details rather than empty extravagance redefines modern ceremony. I laugh softly, remembering all neighborhood gatherings where I sat silently while relatives fawned over Fiona's conventional choices. Now strangers celebrate my vision while HOA's grand clubhouse gala faded into social media memory. My design business calendar bulges with appointments. 3 major brands reached out since feature went viral, tripling client base overnight. Yesterday, editor from California Living quarterly emailed about featuring our ceremony, specifically requesting interview about my work. The irony? I tell Mateo as we sit balcony watching sunset paint skyline. They excluded me to keep me from stealing focus. Doorbell interrupts. Courier delivers cream envelope with Karen's distinctive handwriting. Inside, terse letter demands I decline magazine feature out of respect for Fiona's privacy during difficult time. My hand should shake. 7 weeks ago they would. Instead, calm clarity washes over as I tuck letter back. What will you do? Mateo asks, gentle. I walk desk, pulling copy of magazine that feature my design portfolio last month. Slip it into mailing envelope with note composed without hesitation. I'm not competing with Fiona. I'm completing my own story. No anxiety floods system as I seal envelope. No desperate need for approval tightens chest. Transformation still surprises how completely I've stopped seeking validation from people determined to withhold it. 2 days later, ISA calls news, sending me spinning through apartment. Showcase confirmed, she announces. 30 designers in your headliner. Friends organized rewritten design showcase at Restored Estate near Seattle featuring artists reimagined traditional approaches. Event emphasizes authentic connection over manufacture perfection substance over performance. At opening reception, ISA raises glass to writing ourselves into stories worthy of our lives. Room erupts applause. I stand among people celebrating rather than diminishing vision. Contrast to neighborhood gatherings couldn't be starker. Following month, Mateo and I move modest apartment overlooking downtown. Space smaller than old house, but filled light possibilities. Calendar now includes speaking engagements about authentic design alongside client meetings with companies valuing substance over flash. I'm arranging prints for office wall when doorbell rings. When I open, Karen stands there with Fiona slightly behind, looking uncomfortable. We need to talk, Karen says, pushing past. This has gone far enough. Karen continues. Was all this necessary? The magazine? The showcase? Were you so determined to make a point? I study faces. Karen's indignant, Fiona's uncertain. Feel surprising wave compassion. You think this is about you? I ask quietly. It's first time I've celebrated without worrying how you'd twist it. That's all. They leave shortly after Karen's stiff-backed, silent Fiona backward glance I can't interpret. As I watch them go, I wonder if healing neighborhood wounds requires both sides acknowledge injury, or if sometimes healthiest path, simply tend own garden, let others choose. What would you do? Work repair relationships causing pain, or focus nurturing connections help you bloom? My phone buzzes again, this time positive. New client inquiry from viral showcase exposure. Business booming, neighbors quietly reaching out, apologizing for believing Karen's narrative. Some even asking advice, breaking free from petty rules. Karen's power eroding. Rumors of recall vote circulating in group chat she once controlled. One afternoon, Rachel stops by unannounced, coffee in hand. Grandma finally heard full story from Deborah. She's furious at Karen now. I smile, pouring her glass. Took long enough, but truth has way of surfacing. We sit balcony watching Cardinal, my constant companion through this, flit between feeders. You know, Rachel says half neighborhood talking about starting petition against selective enforcement. Your party open eyes. I nod, thinking back to first violation notice Karen slid under door months ago for unauthorized garden vibrancy. Now my garden featured in Design magazine as bold statement against conformity. Irony delicious. Mom calls later, voice hesitant. Avery, I've been thinking. Maybe we were wrong. I listen without interrupting, letting silence speak volumes. The gala was beautiful but empty. Your event had soul. For first time, she sounds genuine, not scripted. I'm proud of you. Really. Words I waited years for, but now they land different. Not validation I crave, but nice bonus. Mateo joins me after call, wrapping arms around. See? Chosen family wins every time. We watch sunset together, villa memories fresh. Phone pings again, editor confirming interview. Ready for next chapter? He asks. I lean back, smiling. Born ready. And this time, no one dictates script. Days blend into weeks, business, thriving friends closer than ever. Karen sends one last email, polite request for neighborhood unity meeting. I reply simply, busy building authentic community. You should try it. No reply. Power once absolute, now fragile. Residents whisper about bylaws needing rewrite, less control, more connection. My backyard bash didn't just celebrate love. It sparked quiet revolution against HOA tyranny. And that cardinal still visits, daily reminder, freedom possible even in perfectly manicured suburbs. I sip morning coffee, new mug this time, scrolling positive comments on latest project. No more shattered mugs. No more exclusion. Just forward momentum and satisfaction knowing I turned their erasure into my empire. The final twist arrives via certified mail 2 months later. Official HOA board notice. Karen's signature at bottom demanding I cease and desist public criticism of the association, citing defamation clauses and covenants. I read it twice, laughing out loud. Defamation? My viral story simply documented truth. Exclusion, gaslighting, selective rule enforcement. Blog post that started it all, titled, "When HOA Karen Erased Me," now has 250,000 views. Comments flood in from across country, sharing own horror stories. This is why we left our HOA. Your backyard party gave me courage to fight back. Satire pieces pick up thread, mocking beige aesthetic as soul-crushing conformity. Mateo reads over shoulder, grinning. They're scared. Real scared. I nod, tucking letter into evidence folder, now thick enough for small claims court. Let them try. My lawyer says selective enforcement alone could trigger class action. But I don't need court. Public opinion already shifting. Local news station calls requesting interview. HOA drama gone viral. I agree on condition they fill my garden, not Karen's sterile yard. Segment airs prime time, painting me resilient creative force, Karen power-hungry relic. Viewers cheer online. Next board meeting. Open to all residents per bylaws, I conveniently reminded everyone. Packed. I arrive early, portfolio in hand. Karen at head table, face tight, smile cracking at edges. Mom sits middle row, looking nervous but present. Fiona beside her, avoiding eye contact. I take seat front row. When public comment period opens, I stand microphone steady. 3 months ago, I offered free design help for Gala. Instead, got erased, labeled difficult. Fines rained for a vibrant garden, while Karen's own illegal fence went unnoticed. I project slides, screenshots, group chat violation notices, before-after photos, my garden versus approved blandness. This isn't community. It's control disguised as covenants. Murmurs ripple through room. Several neighbors nod heads. Mr. Hargrove stands slowly. She's right. My flag fine last year ridiculous. Applause builds. Karen's gavel bangs, but no one quiets. This meeting is about unity, not attacks. Her voice shrill, now lacking polished concern. Mom rises, surprising everyone. Karen, I supported you, but Avery's right. We lost sight of what neighborhood means. Gasps echo. Fiona sinks lower. Vote called on motion to review all recent fines and consider bylaws reform. Passes overwhelmingly. Karen's face drains color as realization hits. Her reign crumbling, not with bang, but polite neighborhood applause. After meeting, residents surround me, shaking hands, sharing stories. Rachel hugs tight. You started this. Thank you. ISA snaps photos for her feed, captioning real community wins. Mateo waits outside, car keys ready. Proud of you, he whispers. We drive home, windows down, salt air mixing with suburban night. Cardinal perches on mailbox. As we pull up, final symbolic nod. Inside, I open laptop, drafting new client proposal inspired by recent events. Rebranding for HOAs ready to evolve. Tongue-in-cheek, but serious inquiries already rolling in from other associations wanting authenticity audits. Business not just surviving, thriving beyond wildest dreams. Magazine feature, lead speaking gigs, now international brands knocking. Mom calls next morning, voice softer than ever. Can we talk? Really talk. I invite her over, coffee on balcony. She arrives bearing peace offering. Actual vibrant flowers, not HOA beige. I was wrong. Karen had us all convinced you were a problem. Seeing Gala through new eyes. Empty. We sit, long conversation, healing old wounds without erasing past. No full reconciliation overnight, but start. She even asked design advice for her own garden, breaking rules tastefully. Karen's resignation email arrives week later, citing personal reasons. Board thanks her service, but whispers suggest pressure from recall petition I never started, but neighbors ran with. New president elected. Rachel no less. promising fairer rules, less micromanaging. First act. Approve my garden officially. Inspiring example of personality within guidelines. Irony sweeter than any champagne at that original gala. Months later, Mateo and I host small reunion backyard. Chosen family plus few reformed neighbors. ISA photographs Fiona surprisingly RSVP'd with quiet apology note. Saw what real support looks like. Learned. I accept gracefully, no gloating needed. Satisfaction comes from knowing justice reversed, not through revenge, but living well. Sun sets painting everything golden cardinal, circling once before vanishing horizon. I raise glass to Mateo, ISA, gathered friends. To writing our own stories. Laughter rings free, unburdened by covenants. Phone buzzes final time tonight. New client from viral story. Empire not crushed, but built stronger. And somewhere across perfectly manicured lawns, Karen probably measures grass at 2.000 inches, exact, muttering about drama. I smile, sipping wine. Let her measure. I've stopped shrinking to fit. This is my neighborhood now, on my terms. The cardinal returns one last time, perching nearby, as if approving. Freedom looks good on me.